What the f is this piece of sh?
Thank you for being here, guys. I'm going to tell you exactly what's mind-bending about video games. And that is that it is the biggest, highest grossing form of entertainment in the world. However, supermarkets are just either selling off all of their stock of video games really cheap, getting rid of them altogether, or just having a very, very small amount in comparison to that huge aisles that they used to have even just a few years ago. So we are here to talk about the debate of the physical media versus the digital media, and I'm going to give you a stat. The BBC published this mind-blowing stat, but we're going to unpick it slightly. And that was in 2022, in the United Kingdom, 90% of video game sales were digital, meaning 10% were only physical. Now, you might read that if it was a headline and think, oh my goodness, but you just kind of read in the very brief article, which I will link, you have to take into account that the device I'm filming on is a mobile phone, and on those mobile phones you can play lots of games such as Fortnite, Call of Duty, Stardew Valley, even things like Candy Crush. I've heard on the rumour mill that is a game that would count in this 90% of all games that are being kind of played, bought digital. Now that bends my mind, because even if you take out the 30% of mobile, and if you just looked at PS5 or Xbox, it's still a lot of digital over physical media. Now, my main demographic for this channel is 35 to 44-year-olds. I'm in that demographic. You like me might have been born in the 80s and you grew up your bulk of your teenage years in the 90s. We had nothing but physical media. And when I say physical media, you would open a Super Nintendo game and it'd be like manual, warranty card, competition card, a poster advertising games. There might even be like a small catalogue or a booklet that gives you a little insight, almost like a little magazine that gives you an insight into what is coming up. Now, that was such a massive part of the physical media experience that if I can see it, I can smell the manuals, I can feel and hear the crisp unfolding of a poster when you open an N64 game. Before you even played that game, the thing that you saw was the box art, the screenshots on the back, the manual. All of the things that are now dwindling was exactly what I love, one of the things I love about my childhood. Think about it. Okay, I'm guilty. I'm going to admit some fault here. I have an Xbox Series S and I have Game Pass. But I have all those games on physical because I'm just weird like that and I'm just a collector. But you don't get the same experience. You can't, for example, I'm just reaching for this now. I want you to imagine this is a Super Nintendo game. It's not, but we'll use this as an example. Look at that artwork. Look at that artwork. Look at the artwork on the back. Just check that out. I mean, obviously you don't get manuals, catalogues, warranty cards anymore because those things are digital. So a portion of this is actually digital. This is not a fully physical game in my opinion. But there's just something so nice about having physical media in your hand. And unfortunately, as we've progressed into the current generation that we are in, games, they still lack a lot of physical media in their physical form. I get it. Global warming. It costs a hell of a lot less to produce a digital copy of this rather than a physical. I totally get it. And I think that digital media definitely has a solid place in video game currency, if you would. But I don't want to get to the day where everything we do is digital. Let's take a recent game announcement, Alan Wake 2. of which I am supersonic crazy excited to play. Loved the first. I have multiple releases of that game actually just down there lingering on the 360. It's digital only. Now, why is a part of me so saddened by that? I'm extremely saddened about that. I can't put my finger on it because obviously I can still play the game. But I think it comes from that innate love and passion of the 80s and the 90s of opening your first Super Nintendo for the very first time. Seeing and feeling the gloss on that box for the very first time. I mean, I could go on, I could sit here all day and I could be the most imaginative storyteller, you know, but I know you've been through it as well. I know you have been through that Mega Drive box opening yourself. So you'll feel me on this, you'll get me on this. Now, I don't buy digital games unless I have no choice. I think there was one game in the last couple of years, I think it was Mafia, might be the Mafia 3? I had to buy digital because I couldn't find a physical copy and I wanted to stream it. So that's probably the only game I willingly purchased, but if I could have found a physical copy, it would have been a thumbs up. And this brings me full circle back to this, because I reached out to my community and I asked very kindly if you'd be willing to send me some footage of what the games are like in your supermarkets. And we're going to play some of those now. I'm going to start with mine. This is mine. There used to be an entire aisle devoted to the games, but I think I counted a total of 19 games that were physical, with a hell of a lot of the kind of digital cards and etc, etc. The kind of end stand, it's on an end stand which is way in the back of the store. If you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't go anywhere near it. It was like literally next to wrapping paper and piñatas. Okay, so the biggest video game, the biggest entertainment industry in the world, video games, is next to the piñatas in Tesco. Now, some of you reached out to me and said, my Tesco, my supermarket, this is, I've removed them completely. And I had that experience. I went into Asda, which is the British version of Walmart. Walmart own Asda, just for those that are watching in the US, okay? And I went in on the off chance that they were gonna have Diablo 4. I was on my lunch break. I was in this tiny little town on my lunch break. I thought, whoa, here's my chance. Slide into Asda. Bro, I'm checking them aisles like I'm in Call of Duty. I'm like, scanning, couldn't find it anywhere. So I go to the cigarette counter and I'm like, I don't smoke, by the way. We just call it the cigarette counter because there was no queue. I said, excuse me, do you sell PS4, PS5 games? She looks at me and she's like, no, but we've got top-up cards. Didn't ask for top-up cards, did I? You know what I mean? So it's things like that it's just kind of brought me full circle. I thought, you know what, I need to get on camera, I need to talk about this. So we're going to take a look now at some of your supermarkets, what's on offer for you. I'm just going to kind of have the person that sent me the footage, and then we're just going to kind of come back and we're gonna kind of just like, I don't even know, I just can't actually believe it. I might even email Tesco, I'm that passionate. But anyway, this is kind of where you guys are.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.
So it's kind of varied, which I like. I have recently been, I kind of gave that example of Asda previously. I did go in another Asda and they had, I didn't have my camera at the time, and my phone even, and it was like a decent-ish selection. So I think it's one of them, you don't really know what you're going into, you've just got to go in and hope for the best. Let's face it, supermarkets are absolutely everywhere. They are relatively accessible and I have no idea why they're dwindling the stock. It's a stupid decision in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. When you've got multi-billion-dollar franchises like Grand Theft Auto still popping out, even an upcoming game that you could be kind of all over and you're choosing not to. My Tesco does sell the AAA stuff that comes out, your FIFAs, your Call of Duties. But I wanted a copy of Diablo that day. Couldn't get it in Asda, definitely weren't in Tesco because Jess checked. So it kind of broke my heart a little bit. So it's unfortunate that we are in this kind of digital era, this, I guess, a bit of a crisis, but luckily we've got lots of other stuff physical wise. But I do think like Fortnite has a big thing to do with it. Obviously it's digital only, or at least it was. You can get Fortnite on your mobile as well. I spoke about that in Monday's video. I think that is huge. I do think digital is a really good thing, for example, for people that are perhaps disabled and can't get out. I think it's phenomenal that people can, because let's not poo-poo it altogether. It definitely serves a place for people that can't even get out of the house. So I think that that is to be mindful as well. But I'd like to know for you, do you think the day will come when we will be entirely digital? If so, when's that going to be? I think for me the answer is yes, and I think it's coming within the next 5 years. The decline in the game, I think that's going to go completely. And I want to know what ratio of physical to digital you guys dive in with. An old friend of mine was Xbox Game Pass, no physical, nothing, it was just Xbox Game Pass. Fair enough, it's cheap, I get it. But I can't help but go back to my roots of physical media. So they're my 2 cents. Thank you to everybody as well that actually shared clips. It was really interesting to see what was not on offer in your local supermarkets. It would massively help me out, guys, if you could subscribe, consider leaving a like and maybe sharing, because that is the best way to help free content creators, is to subscribe, share videos and hit like. So your free ways that you can help me out. Thank you so much. If you want to chuck a couple of quid, you can hit that join button. Just become a member for, yeah, £2 a month. Buy me a coffee. Brilliant. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Take care.